Karrion Kross addresses speculation about Scarlett's WWE absence. Seth Rollins hits back at WWE after invading Edge's house on SmackDown. And The Undertaker reveals if his daughter will join WWE. What's up, everyone? I'm host G, and there's a lot to talk about in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. Never miss brand new content by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Karrion Kross addresses speculation about Scarlett's WWE absence. Karrion Kross hinted that Scarlett could return to WWE programming shortly. Scarlett, who is engaged to Karrion Kross in real life, performed as the Raw star's valet during his 16-month run in NXT. However, she has not appeared on WWE TV since the two-time NXT champion joined the Raw roster in July. Speaking to Devon Dudley's Table Talk podcast, Karrion addressed speculation about Scarlett's recent WWE absence, saying, quote, "This is what I can say without being deliberately cryptic. We're waiting for something to finish taking its course. But she's very good, and she's been training like a maniac, like she always does. You can expect to see her anytime or any place," end quote. Karrion Kross lost his final NXT match against Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver 36 in August. Despite accompanying her fiancé in his previous NXT matches, Scarlett was also absent from ringside for his match against Joe. Before debuting in NXT in 2020, Karrion Kross and Scarlett worked alongside each other in Mexico and independent events. Asked if he finds it easier to work or without a loved one, Kross said he prefers to have Scarlett by his side. Karrion Kross was selected by Raw as the 17th overall pick on the second night of the 2021 WWE Draft. In his most recent televised match, the 36-year-old defeated Ricochet on this week's episode of Main Event. Booker T says a new WWE faction could become one of the most popular groups ever formed. WWE Hall of Famer Booker T has high hopes for the new SmackDown group, Hit Row, and believes the faction could become a massive hit on the main roster. On his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T lavished praise on Top Dollar and Isaiah Swerve Scott, two of the four members of the faction. He thinks the group's gimmick fits in with what millennials like, saying, quote, "I watch their act. When they come out, they believe in what they're doing. And then their music hits. Their music is hot. Top Dollar is really no joke as far as the music goes, and he's an athlete. And the world is going to see that group do something really, really special. That kid Swerve, there again. I didn't know how good this kid was until he was part of the group where he was able to shine, and that is the Hit Row. Give them the ball and let them run. You talk about a faction that can go down. As far as this generation, the millennials, and what they really, really like, these guys can go down as one of the most popular groups ever formed if done right," end quote. Booker T thinks that Hit Row will bring something different to the Blue brand and that they are must-see TV. Hit Row consists of Isaiah Swerve Scott, Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, and B-Fab. The group formed in May this year, led by Swerve. They quickly became a popular act on NXT. Swerve won the NXT North American Championship and still holds the title. Hit Row was drafted to SmackDown on this year's WWE Draft and featured before SmackDown last week. Seth Rollins hits back at WWE after invading Edge's house on SmackDown. Seth Rollins has hit back at WWE and members of the WWE Universe who have claimed that he took things too far by invading Edge's house on Friday Night SmackDown. Taking to Twitter, Seth Rollins asked for an explanation as he reminded everyone how Edge invaded John Cena's house and slapped his dad back in the day, and everyone found it classic. However, Rollins then went on to point out that when he raided Edge's house to have an apple, everyone lost their minds. On last week's episode of WWE SmackDown, Seth Rollins invaded Edge's house, which forced the latter to call his wife Beth Phoenix and make her aware of Rollins' presence in the house. The Rated R superstar even told his wife not to step foot into the house, as he then mentioned that he would call Daniel and David to deal with Rollins and the chaos he had created. As seen on SmackDown, Seth Rollins entered the empty house, had an apple and some juice, and then went on to mock Edge's daughter's paintings. However, since then, Rollins has had to face a lot of criticism from fans in terms of kayfabe. Seth Rollins and Edge have been feuding since Edge's challenged the former to a match at SummerSlam. The challenge was eventually accepted by the visionary of Drip, but unfortunately he couldn't secure a win and was forced to submit. With WWE Crown Jewel right around the corner, the third match between Seth Rollins and Edge could also be in the books. The pair have collided in a rematch on SmackDown, and the trilogy could be completed in Saudi Arabia, as both men will aim to close this chapter with a victory at one of the biggest shows of the year. Dominik Mysterio reveals the surprising endgame for his WWE character. Dominik Mysterio eventually plans to take over the Rey Mysterio name. Dominik was the latest guest on Out of Character podcast with Ryan Satin to discuss all things WWE. During the interview, Dominik revealed the endgame for his character is to earn the name and mask of his legendary father, Rey Mysterio, saying, quote, "Most definitely, I think the long goal here. The endgame is to eventually take over the Rey Mysterio name. That's the legacy within it. He's Rey Mysterio. It's only right to make a junior. Traditional and lucha culture and Hispanic culture, that's tradition. That's what you do. I kind of just showed up and Dom Mysterio just organically happened. Everything happened so fast that we didn't really get a chance to kind of, put these little things together, but we've definitely talked about it." End quote. Dominik Mysterio went on to reveal that his father, Rey Mysterio, said that the mask is something he has to earn, which would explain why he currently doesn't wear one in WWE. The Undertaker reveals if his daughter will join WWE. The Undertaker is one of the biggest stars in WWE history and inarguably a future Hall of Famer. While he's retired from in-ring competition, he wouldn't mind training his daughter, Kaya, to become a pro wrestler if she ends up choosing to pursue a career in the industry. The Phenom recently appeared on ET Online to discuss the new Netflix interactive film, Escape the Undertaker, which stars himself, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods of the New Day. When asked about his 9-year-old daughter Kaya possibly joining WWE, The Undertaker said he doesn't mind if that's what she truly wants one day, saying, quote, "I'll tell you what, I don't know. I mean, if it's in her heart and that's what she truly wants to do one day, I'll do my best to coach her up, and obviously her mom will too. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We have a long way to go before actually worrying about that." End quote. The movie premiered on October 5th and sees the New Day do exactly what the title suggests, trying to survive and escape the dead man's spooky mansion filled with supernatural surprises. The Undertaker is one of the very few wrestlers in the history of the industry to perform at the top level as a major star in WWE for over 3 decades and still be a special attraction. He's had a very successful career and will go down as one of the greatest of all time. During the interview, the dead man revealed that while he still wants to be involved with the business and that his body can't take it any longer. The Undertaker had his last match in WWE last year. He took on AJ Styles in a Boneyard match in the main event of WrestleMania 36, Night 2. An induction to the WWE Hall of Fame is most likely the next step for the Phenom. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. For exclusive content you never want to miss, you gotta subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification bell so you never miss when we drop brand new content. Follow us on all social media and download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.